Live, local, late breaking. This is WNBF News at 7.
Ahead on WNBF News at 7, the National Transportation Safety Board reversing a decision to investigate a plane crash earlier this week in Myrtle Beach. Plus, when Hurricane Matthew hit the Grand Strand, it wiped out dunes protecting buildings on the coast. What one city is planning to do to rebuild. New details tonight on the plane that crashed into the ocean near the Myrtle Beach State Park. The National Transportation Safety Board is reversing an earlier decision and will now be investigating what led to the small plane crashing into the ocean earlier this week. On Wednesday, NTSB said the agency was gathering information but wouldn't investigate. That changed today. The NTSB and Federal Aviation Administration are gathering info. They hope to interview the pilot and witnesses. A preliminary report is expected in 5 to 7 days. Lawmakers are out of time this year. House and Senate break for summer. Bills that didn't pass now frozen in place until January. Ashley Holland is following this year's progress, which bills made it on the books and which didn't.
Lawmakers worked down to the wire today, most still gloating over passing the gas tax bill they consider a highlight of this year's session. That's the bill to raise the gas tax and pay to fix South Carolina roads. Other notable bills passed include the measure to fill the gaping hole in the state's pension fund, securing more dollars for public employees' retirement, and another bill passed to bring South Carolina into compliance with federal ID requirements so that people are able to board flights and get onto federal buildings and military facilities in the future. But there are other items frozen in time until session begins again in January. Some of those bills that now must wait until lawmakers return include gun legislation for open carry, medical marijuana, and cracking the state's growing heroin epidemic. Reporting from the State House grounds, I'm Ashley Holland.
An update now to a story we brought you as breaking news at 7 Wednesday. Authorities found human remains in a wooded area off Horse Pen Bay Road near Aner. Tonight, the Horry County Deputy Coroner says it may take 3 weeks or more to identify the remains. Now, an ID card was found near the remains, and that ID belonged to a man who's been missing for months. Officials with the Horry County Police Department say, quote, while the preliminary investigation leads us to the conclusion that the remains belonged to Randy Davis, forensic analysis is necessary to confirm the identity. And the search continues for a 7th day for Ayanna Lowry. Lowry is an 8-year-old girl missing from her home along Craig Circle in Bennettsville. Last Friday, Lowry's mother was found dead inside the house. Authorities have been searching for Ayanna ever since. Again, she's 8 years old, 4'2", and weighs about 100 pounds. If you have any information that could help find her, contact the Marlboro County Sheriff's Office. 3 people are facing charges after a man's body was found in the Black River, Georgetown County in March. Now, one of the 3 is facing upgraded charges of murder in the case. The Georgetown County Sheriff's Office says Alexander Rue Jr. is now charged with murder. He, along with his father and sister, are all connected in this case. Alexander Rue Sr. and Tish Rue are both charged with accessory after the fact of murder. Tish Rue's husband, Leon Harrison Jr., went missing from his home in Georgetown in March, and his body was found floating in the Black River 2 days later. A Conway man has his day in court and is convicted and sentenced for sexually assaulting an 8-year-old girl. Authorities say Angel Sanchez was taken into custody just hours after the child reported the assault to her mother in April 2016. His trial began Monday with jury selection, testimony on Tuesday, and the jury deliberated for about 45 minutes today before reaching a unanimous verdict. He'll spend 35 years in prison. A pair of kidnappers turned robbers were arrested by Myrtle Beach police after they stole an iPhone with the Find My iPhone app turned on. Authorities say Michael Burgess and Curtis Edward drove past a man who was walking along North Ocean Boulevard near 9th Avenue North around 3 a.m. and asked him where to find marijuana. The man got in the car and they drove to a gas station. One of the men bought cigarettes, and when he returned, he pulled out a handgun and began hitting the victim with the gun and his hands. The two asked the victim to give him everything he had in his pockets. He reportedly handed over an iPhone and then was dropped off. When the victim called police, they used Find My iPhone and tracked Burgess and Edward to the Walmart on Seaboard Street. Each faces a list of charges tonight. More questions than answers tonight regarding the firing of FBI Director James Comey. We have the latest in this twisting story next.